Greetings, people of the world! Matthew back with you here in Overall Autism for the continuation of Let's Play Final Fantasy XIV, A Realm Reborn. It is Year 2, Day 26 for EDSS in the Realm Reborn, and last time we were able to successfully defeat the Serpent of the Sea known as Leviathan. And now that we have, and having gotten recognition from the Admiral Morwell, our superior officer, let's go ahead and take the next mandatory main story challenge from Xanthel, who provides us with a level 50 challenge entitled When Yugiri Met the Fraternity. Xanthel has orders to point you in the direction of the Lominsan underworld. The Admiral has informed me of the arrangement. I have in my keeping a letter of introduction for Lady Yugiri. To the south stands a gate, leading to a pier for smaller fishing vessels. Look for an inconspicuous Hyrian man there, and present the letter to him. He serves as a gatekeeper of sorts. Now before you go, I am obliged to remind you that the members of the fraternity to which you would be introduced abide in the shadows of Lominsan society. They value their independence more highly than pirates and are united by a bond stronger than Mithril, to which they are invariably wary of new faces. Though it be penned by the Admiral herself, mere words on parchment will only get you so far into their confidence. You must work for every ounce of trust they place in you. But here's the letter. Go to the aforementioned place and show it to the aforementioned man. Oh, and good luck. Yes, sir. So yes, we actually came across a fraternity of sorts in the last episode as well, because of an introduction to something that was introduced in patch 2.4, known as the Rogues Guild. And that is a group of warriors that play... that when you play as them, they fight with daggers, and when you get that elevated warrior class, you get to fight as a ninja. So, I do not believe that's the same as what we're going to be doing when we introduce this man to Lady Yugiri, but their fighting styles are very similar, so we want to speak to this inconspicuous man in green. Got business with me, venturer? Yes, I do believe I have some business. Courtesy of the Admiral herself. So you're the man the Admiral sent word of. I was hoping I might catch a glimpse of Thancred too. Been a while since I saw his shite-eating grin. But with all the doe-eyed wenches about, I suspect he's got his hands full. Yes, but I have a person of interest I'd like you to meet. A head of state. Oh, and you must be the Far Easterner what Moab says wants to train with us. Welcome to Limsum, lady. I am Yugiri of Doma. 'Tis an honor to make your acquaintance. I must confess, when I first learned of your organization, I had certain preconceptions as to the nature of your membership. It would seem I was mistaken. You're not the first person to say that, lass. Lims is a city of pirates, to be sure, and pirates don't give two false about keeping a spotless reputation. They only need a secret society to do their dirty work. Might be as my people and I keep to the shadows, but we got nothing to be ashamed of. It's simply better for business that we remain unseen. And so you have developed fighting techniques suited to this purpose. I see. Know that the practitioners of my art, too, are denizens of shadow. 'Tis in stealth that our strength lies. There is much we might learn from one another, I think. Then what are the 7 hells are you waiting for? If you come with us, Yugiri of what's it? We can get acquainted in more private surrounds. That didn't come out right, did it? No, it did not. But you'll get the hang of it, though, I'm sure. Master Edie, I shall remain with these people for a time, that I might study their ways. Though I am loath to be separated from my countrymen, I take solace in the knowledge that they are in the best of hands. You have been a true friend to us Domans. No words will suffice to express my gratitude. Ere long, I hope to begin imparting my martial knowledge to the people of Eorzea. When that time comes, it would be my honor to welcome you as a student. Well, thanks to my first avatar, we've already accomplished that. So, we part ways with Lady Yugiri for the time being. And so now, we have to figure out where the heck we're going to go next. Well, Lady Yugiri is going to send us on our way. And she gives us what will be the last challenge of patch 2.2, entitled Through the Maelstrom. Yugiri has the air of a woman bursting with gratitude. Much and more has occurred since I first beheld Eorzea from the galleon's deck. Suffice it to say, I did not envisage being invited to play a part in your noble struggle. But forgive me, I have kept you long. Doubtless you have pressing business of your own. Rest assured that I no longer require an escort in this land. But when you next meet Lady Minfilia, pray relay to her my humblest thanks. Would that I could do so in person, but I must needs fulfill my promise to the Admiral. Till we meet again, Warrior of Light. And so, this ends with us going back to Minfilia to give her the good news that Lady Yugiri is in trusted hands in Limsa Lominsa, and that we can now prepare for the last main completion of a challenge in patch 2.2. However, we are not yet done with patch 2.2 because there are still some things that we can do. But I'll take care of those after we cover the end of this particular challenge. And so, now that we've arrived in Mordona once again, we return now to the 7th Heaven, where the Rising Stones, the headquarters of the Signs of the 7th Dawn, are. And so we'll go ahead and bring the news to Lady Minfilia. So as we can see, members of the Doman Society appear to be adapting well to their new surroundings. How many of them can we find? There's Yozan over there. And here's Ida chilling out along with Papa Limo. And there's Hozan and Koharu. And I guess we won't see the Yozan or Hozan's dad again. Not that we need to, because the main people of interest in that particular challenge we have seen. Lady Minfilia, let's wrap up patch 2.2's storyline.
I have been reflecting upon the events which took place during our visit to Vilbrand. If you have a moment, I would share my conclusions with you. Please, bear with me.
Oh, of course, take with the time all you need.
When the Sahagin Elder summoned Leviathan, he employed the power we have come to know as the Echo, though I cannot well explain the how of it. It would seem he became immortal in so doing. When the Admiral subsequently slew him, his spirit emerged from his lifeless flesh, a consciousness shorn of physical form. Thus transfigured, he took up residence in the body of his minion with the ease of a man donning a favorite glove.
Yeah, it definitely looked like that.
Long have I known that the Echo allows one to pass through the walls of a man's soul, but never did I imagine that it could free us from our own flesh, nor less that our souls could then occupy the next corporeal vessel to take our fancy. It was of this that Elidibus spoke, an existence which knows neither cessation nor oblivion. And yet, though the Sahagin had mastered his gift and thereby become immortal, he was by no means invulnerable.
So what do you
As we
surmise?
both bore witness, he was ultimately absorbed into Leviathan.
Yeah, he didn't get necessarily what he wanted, did it?
If the Ascians' mode of existence is indeed the same, it can be inferred that they too are not invulnerable, that they can be destroyed.
Do you have a proposal on how we accomplish this?
There exists a legend which tells of souls who are reborn upon the cusp of each umbral calamity, that they might stay the encroaching darkness. To most, it is but a fairy tale. Yet recent events have given me cause to wonder. Could the legend in fact refer to the Echo? Much and more yet remains unknown, but I am confident that all will become clear in time. For the present, however, what matters is that the key to defeating the Ascians may at last be within sight.
Let's hope you're right on that.
With Urianger's aid, it is my hope that I shall fathom this matter ere long.
Well, speaking of Urianger...
Oh, I was just about to send for you, my friend. Is Artemis?
Well, if you've been paying attention, in the last few episodes we've been learning that the students of Baldessian, the scholarly partners of the Signs of the 7th Dawn, their headquarters was attacked a few episodes ago. And
Grave tidings from the Sharlayan motherland, my lady.
And it would seem that this is a continuation of that.
It doth concern our distant allies, the students of Baldessian.
Uh-huh.
What of them?
My lady, the Isle of Val, which for many years hath been the Order's home, is no more.
No more? Whatever do you mean?
Destroyed, obviously.
I relate only that which hath been conveyed unto me by our agents. An etheric wave of the highest magnitude was recorded in the region. Soon thereafter, 'twas observed that the isle had ceased to be.
Vanished into
'Tis
thin air.
postulated that a magic was evoked, like in power to Ultima.
That's not good.
12 preserve.
Because, yeah, that's just a lot of people who vanished into thin air. That's a lot of people who just vanished into thin air. Just like that. Meanwhile, back in Ul'dah,
If there are no other matters, I move that today's meeting be adjourned.
you know, remember these guys? The ones who refused to allow the Domans to be allowed into Ul'dah? Well, they take their leave, except for one Lalafell, who tried to defend them. But he has a lot on his mind.
It is done, my lord.
What is done?
I... Forgive my impertinence, my lord, but these orders... I am uncertain as to what end they serve.
That's a good question.
Revolution.
Yeah, bad intentions on the mind of Teleji Adolaji. And it's with that patch 2.2 storyline is done. We get the achievement through the Maelstrom, and we can now take Minfilia's next challenge in 2.3, but we're going to leave that for the time being. For now, we're going to take on something that was also... I actually can't remember if it was first introduced in patch 2.1 or if it was introduced in patch 2.2. But, to get the ball rolling on it, we need to go to Ul'dah. So we're gonna go to Ul'dah because there should be a person of particular interest that we need to speak to that will start a series of events that are part of the first part of a prolonged side story that has stretched through multiple patches introduced into the game. So, let's go see if we can find the person that we are looking for. It will not be this gentleman here. It should be this guy, Wyman. If we speak to him, we should get the challenge we're looking for. Okay, he actually has two. Well, this is a level 1 challenge, so we don't need to worry about that one. The one we're interested in is this challenge, a level 50 entitled The Rise and Fall of Gentlemen. An old acquaintance of Wyman is at wit's end, and the businessman would have you help her. I hear you've been busy as a bee, Edie. Seems half the whispers what come my way relate to your comings and goings. Well, when you're the Warrior of Light, you pretty much are the A-lister in Eorzea, aren't you? Being the active type you are, I reckon you'd be interested in investigating some queer rumors, am I right? But before that, let me ask, ever heard of a man named Hildebrand? Have you heard of Hildebrand before? Well, since we are new to Eorzea, and since this is all being seen through the eyes of Edie, we're gonna say no. To hear him tell it, he was Eorzea's greatest and most famous inspector. Still can't say I'm surprised you don't know him. To his credit, Hildebrand and his assistant had a knack for showing up when something shady was afoot. As for sussing out the culprits, well, he had his moments, though I hesitate to give him sole credit. Anyway, 5 years ago, he gets it in his head that he's cracked the code of Meazza's 7th verse. Dalamud, the Calamity, all of it can be stopped, he says, so long as he finds the hero of prophecy. And when you know it, the hero was Hildebrand himself. So he flies off towards Dalamud. Oh, that's right, he flew. Launches himself straight into the air, somehow ridiculous as it sounds. Of course, it's only logical that he's got to come back down, though it was only recently that we found his body. I had no reason for bringing this up. Alright, so Nashu, Hildebrand's erstwhile assistant, has become an inspector in her own right. At present, she's investigating the queer rumors I mentioned earlier. She's a sweet lass, a bit daft, but sweet nonetheless. So when I hear she's at wit's end, I want to help. Thing is, I prefer to meddle in the affairs of the living. Zombies are definitely not my forte. So if you're willing, I'd be grateful if you lent her a hand. As for where to find her, she's like to visit Hildebrand's grave in the Lich Yard when she's frustrated. Try looking for her there first. Yeah, we've actually been there before. It's in Camp Drybone. right where the Church of Saint Adama Landama is. And for those of you who've been following this Let's Play from year 1, that is actually where we were first introduced to the man who we would ultimately know as his true identity as this game's version of Sid. But speaking of Sid, we haven't seen him in quite some time. But I imagine that'll change eventually. In fact, there is another side story that will pretty much require it. That we will meet with Sid again. Because there's going to be some challenges that we're going to need to do for him that will involve us to get to some brand new locations in the game. But we'll leave those for now. First, we want to speak with Miss Nashu Makaraka. Milady? Oh, if only you were still alive, Inspector. You know how to stop these zombies. Go to the monocle. And, milady, I have to say that, I don't know what to call that, but that's getting a little too close for comfort. Are you there? Could it be? Oh, you've come to offer your services to me? Well, I guess you could say that. If it means dressing you properly, then sure, definitely. Oh, but where are my manners? Allow me to introduce myself. My name is Nashu, Agent of Inquiries, Extraordinary Inspector. At least, that's what I'm trying to be. It's not quite as easy as he made it look. Inspector Hildebrand was a great man, a real Eorzean hero. We traveled the world, me and him, solving cases and thwarting evil. No matter the mystery, you could always count on the Inspector to solve it with grace and style. But then there was the final case. The case of the century, he called it. How to stop the Red Moon from destroying the world. To save us all, he flew into the sky, and all I could do was watch. But then, he came back down and he... Uh-oh. You know what time it is. We're gonna pay a visit to Nashu's mind via Echo. And so we find Nashu paying her last respects. This is all a joke. A big funny joke. Right, Inspector? Any moment now you burst out the ground and shout, "Surprise! How do you feel, eh?" And we'll laugh and laugh. Yeah. Father Iliud, I don't think, shares that same sentiment. Hildebrand Mandeville, beloved son. I didn't see where that was inscribed on the tablet, but that is his name, Hildebrand Mandeville. They say no one remembers the warriors of light. Their names, their faces, all gone forever. But I remember you, Inspector. No, gentleman hero Hildebrand. And certainly quite the sword he had, too. And shield to boot. I can never be the hero you were, but I'll do my best to try. I hear digging. What's she... Oh, she's digging up some clothes. Oh, she had some clothes to change into. I, Nashu, Inspector and Extraordinaire, will carry on your legacy. Yeah, for a moment it sounded like she was digging into the ground and stealing his clothes, but no, she had her own sets. So I told myself, well, Nashu, there must be a leader, a head zombie who tells the rest what to do. Therefore, all we need to do is kill him. Again, that is. Unfortunately, I don't know where he is or how to find him. But now that you're here, my faithful assistant, you can try the one good idea I've come up with so far. If you go to where these dapper zombies were last seen in southern Thanalan, you might find them, and then you could, you could become their friend, and us to meet the leader. Yes, that's sure to work. Well, if you believe it. So, we have to go to Southern Thailand, as instructed, and as you can see, there is a particular fate that has to pop up that we not only have to participate in, but complete. So, away we go. So the fate that I'm looking for is not currently on right now, is not currently available, but it's going to appear in this red circle right here. So we're going to mount my chocobo and go to the required location. Go to the required location, and then once the fate is activated, then we can get it going. And see just what we have to do as part of the fate in order to complete it. So, the Warrior Light, of course, rides on his chocobo with the Warrior of Light barding on it. As much as I would love to ride my white chocobo from the Ceremony of Eternal Bonding and ride like a badass, I'm on a time limit here, and so unfortunately I can't be the badass that I want to be. But as we can see, there's a lot of action going on here. Lots of level 45 enemies that no doubt want to take me out before I get my chance at what we're going to be fighting. So, I think we'll step around and behind you guys, because the fate's going to take place in this little patch of sand right here. And not only are we going to have to deal with them, but there's also going to be some errant Amalja that we may also have to contend with. So now that we're here in the designated area, it now becomes a case of waiting it out. So I will take a time out, and then once the fate becomes active, I will rejoin you guys. So be right back. Really, Iron Tortoise? Did you have to stand there? And so, the moment you've been waiting for has arrived. Fallen Corpse's Wrath and Spell has finally been activated, and so, we have to go beat up a bunch of zombies. While at the same time, it looks like we're gonna have to deal with the Amalja too, so we're gonna have to be careful about them. But our main purpose is to beat up these dapper zombies, who prefer to show off for me. So I'm gonna have to teach them a lesson, like, if you came here to be fighting, then I'm gonna have to encourage you to do so. But you can see, yeah, as I approach them, they bow to me. You are neither a gentleman nor a zombie, huh? Yeah, he'd rather spend the time flexing, apparently. Yeah, you can see he's flexing. Like, why are you flexing when you should be fighting? This makes no sense. This is confusing as all hell. Well, you're not much of a warrior. You should have taken up bodybuilding. Yeah, you can see they're even showing off to the Amalja. These are some confused zombies. Dapper as they are, they're still confused. Like, why are you posing to the Amalja? There is no rhyme or reason for what they're doing. It just makes no sense. It looks like this one's gonna take his show elsewhere on the road. So, we'll still have to beat him up. Hopefully we don't draw the ire of the Amalja. As I do not want to harm my brother Lancer, even though he is the enemy. Even though his people are capable of summoning a freeze. But remember, we've had experience with the Brotherhood of Ash back in year 1, so we know they're not all bad. Showing off some nice moves. Yeah. These have to be the laziest zombie warriors ever. Please put some effort into your fighting. See, at least you came with a little bit of enthusiasm. But not even he is choosing to fight me properly. He takes one swipe and then that's it, he's done. He'd rather flex instead. So I'm gonna have to teach you guys some more lessons. Boy, no wonder you're zombies. You can't even fight properly. Wow. The moment I say that, one of you actually throws some zombie balls, as it were. But even then, you end up like the rest of them, doing the same old tired poses, rather than fighting me straight up. I have to say, I'm very unimpressed with your fighting style. No wonder you're lost in defeating zombies. Well, you are neither a warrior or a zombie either. And besides, who said I was a zombie? I can't quite recall someone actually pointing me out as such. But, yeah, it looks like you finally drew the ire of Namalja. So we're gonna have to deal with you as well. Probably guessed it was only a matter of time before I did such a thing. A gentleman is rather than does, huh? Well, perhaps, well, you are, as in is, someone who prefers to be flexing and bodybuilding rather than doing, as in fighting. So I guess in that sense, what you say is accurate. But suddenly I've run out of zombies to fight. Might as well just be Mulja. I know I still have like 11 minutes left, but I also know that I would like to bring this fate to a close sooner rather than later. And besides, it says in the description of the fate that we're doing, dispatch the dapper undead for the benefit of the living. That's our responsibility, man! If we don't hold up our responsibility, who's gonna do it, man? Someone's gotta do it, it might as well be us! So, boom goes the dynamite on the flaming beacon. Now, where did you zombies go? Alright. Oh, I finally found one. Two, rather. It doesn't matter. You're all the same. None of you are any different than the ones who came before you, and for that I wag my finger at you as I'm thrusting my lance into you. The gentle dead men. Well, one thing's for sure, you certainly don't know how to fight. Because I have proven myself successful over you. So yeah, we got a piece of curious parchment that we now have to give back to Nashu. So, back to Eastern Thanlin. Back to Eastern Thanlin, we'll speak with Nashu and then we'll bring the episode to a close. Yeah, because, yeah, I certainly waited for quite a while for the fallen corpses rather than Stull to come up. It is a fate that does pop up a lot more frequently than a lot of other fates do in the game. I'm guessing that when I arrived in Eastern, or rather in Southern Thanlin to do that particular fate, either the time limit had just ended on its earlier rotation, or someone had just beaten it. That's what I surmise had occurred, and why it had taken so long for the fate to be reintroduced. Lady Nashu, I have returned, and I can see that you're still dressed in that creepy outfit. Did you find the zombies? You did! That's wonderful! I've been busy too. The head zombie will rule the day he meets me. You'll see. So tell me, what did you learn? Well, this is what I found. Oh, so you weren't able to make new friends. That's a shame. But this parchment... This is a map of the Sagoli Desert. There's a spot marked here in the south. And look, there's something written there. A gentleman is rather than does. That sort of reminds me of well, no matter. Let's see where this map takes us, assistant. Onward, to the Sagoli! So, yes, I believe we will do indeed just that. So, the closest place to the Sagoli Desert is in Southern Thanlin at Forgotten Springs. This is where we met up with that Loon guy who was part of the company of heroes that tested us to make sure that we were worthy of fighting against Titan. And there's a fate already going on here. In fact, it's going on right over there. It looks like this fate is about to come to an end. Perhaps we can provide some assistance to bring it to an end sooner rather than later, because it looks like there's some green blood, green horn, adventurers that are taking this experience on for the first time and have discovered just how difficult of a challenge this is. Because you think that's just as easy as killing the little mini sandworms, but then the lava comes along and makes your life a living hell. So hopefully we can... And this train has already gone along really well. It's already made a lot of progress in the time that it's been active. So there's that to take into account, in addition to the fact that this is already half dead now. As long as the I guess the NPCs are fighting the little mini sandworms, we can have the big sandworm, Uladashi, over ourselves. That is fine with me. So yeah, keep going there, Tank. You're doing a great job of holding off those big, nasty, little mini sandworms. Whoa! Almost found myself on the wrong side of an attack there. In fact, I think I did. Almost got it dead though. Tank is not taking much in terms of damage, which is good. These sandworms are asserting themselves here. Looks like the NPCs couldn't handle it and they got overrun. Well, looks like we got a little extra help here as we get closer to the end of this particular fate. I mean, if I have an opportunity, why not get involved? It kind of makes sense. But now I'm being attacked by a sandworm from behind. Hopefully we can kill this thing off quickly. I don't want to be standing in the way of that AoE attack. I'm almost out of TP. Come on guys, let's bring it home. There it is, we got it. We will get full credit for the fate. And I will take that. So, I guess we'll hold off on meeting up again with Nashu next time, because she's all the way down there, and I actually want to save at the end of this for next time. There's a reason for it, and I'll explain why and show why when I join you again in the next episode. So with that, I'd like to thank everyone for watching the continuation of Let's Play Final Fantasy XIV: A Realm Reborn. And when I join you again, we will make our way down over to where Nashu is in order to complete the first challenge of many that will involve this particular individual. So until next time everyone, this is Matthew at Novora Autism, saying take care, and I'll see you soon.